Hey friends, how you doing? Welcome back or welcome to my channel. If you are new here, I am the TheTranspondster and we're hanging out in The Sims 4 like we always do, but today we are doing a speed build and I'm actually over in Henford on Bagley this time. I feel like with spring just around the corner, doing a nice cottagecore wedding venue in a park, lots of greenery and nature around was pretty fitting. Plus, spring fever and all of that, love is in the air. So, yeah, we're doing a wedding venue right now, and the inspiration here is kind of greenhouse turned wedding venue. So there's going to be a lot of plants lining this room. It's not like an interactive greenhouse in the sense that your Sims can come garden here, but like I said, an old greenhouse converted. So it's got the vibes, but not the functionality. And I do have to say that this wall with vines from Jungle Adventure is like my favorite part of this whole build. And of course, it ends up being the backdrop for the wedding ceremony itself. We get the arch right in front of it in the middle, so you can actually see right down the aisle from outside of the greenhouse as well. It can be a long haul walk, or it can be just a nice short one from the edge of the greenhouse, whatever vibe the bride is going for. I kind of feel like this could be a little bit fairy core as well. To me, they're a little interchangeable. I also want to make note that the only reason that this build is going to potentially be a pack heavy one is due to all the greenery in this specific room. When it comes to the landscaping and all the furniture throughout the rest of the build, I do stick just to a couple main packs, with the exception of those chairs, actually. But I do use like all my wedding story stuff and horse ranch for like the windows, doors kind of thing. Base game, obviously. What else did I use? Cottage Living, because it's a cottage core lot, and we're in Henford on Bagley, so naturally. And I want to say that might honestly be it for the main ones. Maybe a little bit of growing together when it comes to like the playground part. But yeah, I didn't use a lot of packs for the main structures of the build. So it is download friendly. You do just have to keep in mind that you might have to replace one or two items, particularly the plants. Also, this is going to look a little wonky what I'm doing here. Basically, I wanted this nice curved path to continue, but because the flooring that I picked within the greenhouse was the one from Cottage Living, and it's a floor tile, not the terrain paint, so I couldn't just naturally make it curvy. I kind of had to do a workaround with the curved room feature, and I feel like I just blend it the best I can with some terrain paint here at the end. I do end up rounding this out to make it look a little bit more on the natural side. And then for all the bends and turns along the way, I just get plant heavy around them. Nothing crazy, like minimal style wise, but I do try to make it blend with the natural landscaping. The landscaping was definitely the worst part of this build, like it always is, but I had to do it here. It was a big portion of the build. I mean, look at the size of the greenhouse and look at the size of the lot. I have a lot of area to fill in here, and mind you, trees do make that a hell of a lot easier. It is still work making it all naturally blend. I had a little pop up there. That's not a normal one for the game. It was a mod that I was working with. I do use Better Build Buy, especially now that it's been fixed. I occasionally use Tool, and I do have master command center cheats, or whatever the technical term is, MCCC, for my gameplay, just to, have a little more control, because as a control freak, the natural in-game controls aren't enough for me. I wanted a lot of vines and green on the outside of this too. I felt like the windows up top looked kind of awkward, but they definitely look better there than not being there and having it windowless, because in my head this whole building should be windows, and I'm really bummed we still can't do that kind of thing. Like, the next big update for building in this game needs to be being able to put windows on the roof, like the wall part of the roof, and have them in a triangle shape so that we can do that. Even just like three angles of it, like if you do kind of a more flat one in the middle, and then a really peaked triangle window, I think that's perfect. It fits all build types to some extent. I feel like that would make coding for some CC creators easier too, but I'm just talking nonsense now because I don't actually know anything about creating CC in this game. I used to be pretty big into coding when I was in high school. No one really knew that, but I did take a computer science class, and I basically passed the whole class with 100%. I think I ended up getting like 98 or 99% in the whole class. So I'm taking that as 100%. That's like 2 questions wrong the whole semester. That's pretty good, right? But yeah, I did a lot of website coding too back in my Neopets days, but I did some minimal stuff with Sims 2. And yeah, it's just been a really, really, really long time since I've done any of that. So coding scares me nowadays because I honestly forget all of it. I want to make a special note that the bathrooms do use growing together because I have a changing table in there. If you do not have growing together, you can still download this slot. You just won't have, I believe, the changing table and the swing set when it comes to the playground portion of this build. Maybe a couple plants, but I already mentioned that for you, so I'm not surprising anyone there. I do find that I'm doing a very good job at remembering to put little potties for toddlers and the changing tables for the infants in all of my builds, bars included, because not all parents are good parents and babies get taken to inappropriate places sometimes. Not that all bars are inappropriate. I've definitely had my baby / toddler in a mild bar setting. It's more like a sports bar. My dad he took my mom there for Mother's Day, and then it invited like my grandparents and myself and my family, just because they were out and about in the area, and he was like, oh, let's go get dinner, it's Mother's Day, and then he texted everyone and we were all able to come. So yeah, some bars, but clubs might be that borderline. We try not to judge parents when we can, because we're all just out here doing the best we can, I think, and that's all our kids need. Anyway, off my parent spiel. I originally was going to go base game here with the table setting, but I did end up going with the My Wedding Stories one. I do have a little recording glitch there in that I accidentally paused my recording and didn't realize until maybe like 5 to 10 minutes later of building. So I really didn't miss much, just a little bit of landscaping and the placement of the playground parts, I believe. I don't remember seeing myself do that earlier in the build, but I do just use mostly base game stuff there, with the exception of the swing set, because I liked that it had the little like fairy lights on it a little bit. I don't know if they're functional actually, but they're at least there for the aesthetic. And yeah, that's all we needed for this fairycore, cottagecore wedding venue lot. Just some, final touches here and tweaks. Obviously, we had to get some wall paint in there and flooring too. And then I believe after this, all that's left pretty much is to do the overall lighting for the lot to make sure everything looks pretty at nighttime, especially because if you do download this and you are using it for weddings, if your wedding turns into a nighttime wedding, or the party just keeps going, you still want the pictures to be good. So I really hope I got enough lighting in here. I think I did. I pretty much lined the whole path. To be honest, I think the least amount of lighting is technically in the greenhouse, but I did add a decent amount in there. I didn't want to hang anything from the ceilings because technically the ceilings are all glass, so it didn't make sense, but I do add some floor ones when it was a little more dim than I would have liked. I am going to wrap this up because those screenshots and walkthroughs are going to sneak up on me, just getting that woohoo spot in there naturally, because you know me. But yes, thank you so much for being here for this speed build. I really enjoyed making it for you. I really appreciate your time here. It means the world that anyone wants to give me any time on the internet. So don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, keep showing your support. All of it means so much to me. And don't forget to have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye, guys.